All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Hoop Talk gang is back. We got the same people as usual. It's another podcast, man. At this point, I've lost track. I think we're at episode 18 now, if I'm not mistaken. Hit us up in that comment section. Let me know if I'm right, if I'm wrong. Hit us up with that subscribe. Help us grow. Share with all your friends and family, man. All that good stuff. You should know the drill if you've been here before. If not, then do it or I will be upset. All right? Let's get right into it, man. Let's pod. Last episode, if you tuned in, I promised that we would incorporate women's NCAA tournament recap. Of course, I'm not going to recap the entire tournament because they're already into the Final Four. That would be too much. But we are going to go ahead and recap where they are right now. We're going to recap how the Elite Eight ended, and we're going to see tomorrow who's going to play in the Final Four. So, and if you guys have any storylines that you're familiar with that you would like to share, I have a couple myself, but if you have any storylines you'd like to share throughout these wins and losses that we'll be debating, feel free to let the fans know. Let me go ahead and switch it up to the screen right here. So for the Elite Eight, Texas took down Haley Van Lith and her TCU team, 58-47.
No, finally.
You said what?
Sedona Prince on TCU has been in college since I left high school, I feel like. She's been in college for at least 7 years. And she's at TCU. Finally. Bro, it's insane.
Is she highly touted in the draft, or?
She's gonna get drafted, but she's not a first round projection. She's 6'7", so it's kind of like the NBA, where like if you're 7 foot, you're probably gonna get hired at some point. She's gonna get in, but she's like 25. She has a ton of like off the court issues with like domestic violence and stuff. So I don't know for sure if she gets drafted, to be honest.
Is she declaring for the draft officially? Is she done with all her eligible years?
She's been in college for 7 years. I hope to God she's out of eligibility.
True.
I don't think there's any more time.
I just wanted to make sure. Hey, if she made it this far,
I think so though.
All right, and we got South Carolina returning back to the Final Four after a perfect season last year. Some say that they're having a down year. That's how phenomenal they are as a program, that only losing 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, is considered a down year for them. But when you have a perfect season, I think that's easy to say. They unfortunately took down my Duke Blue Devils. Now, I have to admit, I don't follow the women's side as much. I'm not going to front. But Duke is still Duke, and they made it to the Elite Eight, so shout out to them. But South Carolina took them down 54-50. UCLA takes down LSU by 7, and UConn upsets USC 78-64. It's a 1-2 matchup, not a crazy upset, but you always expect the number 1 seed to advance, which did not happen this time around.
Though,
huh?
USC Juju's out. She got injured.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Right. Juju was out.
It was a rematch from last season.
Yeah, and then we got Paige Beckers heading to the Final Four against UCLA this year. And Texas going off against South Carolina. Tyler, what's your prediction? Who's heading to the championship round? Who do you think is going to take it?
Where
I really do believe
the Vietnams are not schooled.
It's tough. I think UConn has it. Since Paige has been in college, she hasn't missed the Final Four, so she has that experience where a lot of the other people in the tournament don't. And I don't really think that I could ever bet against South Carolina anymore. I had to see the matchups because I don't have the matchups. What were they again?
South Carolina versus Texas and UConn versus UCLA.
Yeah, I got UConn and I got South Carolina in the finals. And
Who comes out of that?
I have UConn winning it this year for once.
Is Paige Beckers going into the WNBA as a NCAA champion? I love it.
Unfortunately, she's going to the Dallas Wings, which kind of sucks.
At least she'll have one championship in her career, if this works out, that is.
Yeah.
Let's switch over to the men's. I should have had it already up, but of course I did not. But it should be a quick
I got something to say real quick before we get into it. First of all, I was doing some scouting this week, and finally got to see a whole Cooper Flagg game, and I am very impressed with him. And all these like doubts of him not being an NBA player, he like washed those all the
What
way.
doubts?
He's
Doubts?
I haven't heard anything.
no, I'm saying of being like a great NBA player. I think he's going to be a very, very, very good NBA player. I think he's going to be more than just like a 3 and D guy or just. I think he's pretty good, bro. And he's got a lot of like, I don't know if everybody, he's got a lot of Jason Tatum in him, and I really like his game, bro. Like I really, really like his game, and he's also like no homo. He's got a really good base built body. Like he's gonna be like he's NBA ready, like for sure. He's gonna be a good player.
What's
bro.
the
It's insane
most
how much
NBA
better
ready
he
thing
is.
about his body, Pluto?
His legs,
Like,
his legs
what
are
aspect?
his legs
His
are
legs?
huge, bro. Bro, he's got like
What do you like most
big,
about his
almost
legs?
thick legs. All right, I'm
Why
not
did
doing
you
this
fall
one,
into
Tyler.
this trap, man? Why did you allow
Yeah,
yourself?
I know because
to
I
get-
wanted people.
Why did you allow yourself
I
to
want
get this
people
deep
to
into
know.
that conversation, man? Like, what the hell?
No, I mean, body types are important with basketball, regardless. Though
I don't think
he's
he
kinda
actually
built
cares,
like
though. I'm
Kawhi.
just putting that out there. I don't think he actually cares. I think it was
Oh,
just
yeah,
all
yeah,
a
yeah.
leading thing to get you here. That's all it was.
Yeah,
I care though,
I
because
got you.
the thing about Cooper Flagg though, he generally does have an NBA ready body. He has a frame that he's gonna fill out a lot, like his super wide shoulders, which we've seen constantly. The same thing with Giannis when he came in really frail, but he
Yeah.
had that frame that he built into.
Frame.
I think Cooper Flagg can do that
Yeah,
too. Look at Jason
yeah.
Tatum, bro.
He's got
Jason Tatum's the same way. Those
and
wide ass shoulders.
Kawhi Leonard. He's more like Kawhi Leonard built. He's got like the really long arms with like the shorter kind of legs. He's gonna be a good player though, bro. Like I don't have any doubt about him being a good NBA player no more. I had to see it myself in a really high stake game, but yeah, you're right, Tyler. Like he's gonna be able to fill in and get a lot thicker and stronger. Like it's gonna be insane. Like very crazy.
I can't believe you're doubting him though. I cannot believe
No
that.
facts.
No.
I've never actually met somebody who
Uh-huh.
didn't think Cooper Flagg was gonna be amazing.
I never really got to sit down and have a whole game. I'm not really one of those guys who enjoys college basketball. So the only time I really watch is during March Madness. I'll be honest.
College basketball
I
is
become
more
a little
exciting
whore
than
around that
NBA
time.
basketball to me.
During March
Oh.
Madness, when people
All year
start
long.
crying,
I
in
absolutely
people's lives.
love college basketball, but
I can't watch it. It's disgusting.
that's a weird. It's the
agree
most
with you.
pure version of basketball ever. It's just pure X's and O's. Just go out there and listen to your coach, or you're gonna lose. Simple as that. But
None of the bigger schools. So we can do that later.
it is. But I mean, if you don't watch it, you can't really have that opinion. So I mean, hey, you say what you want to say. Either way, here we are with the men's side of basketball. We're a little bit late. This happened on Sunday, but we don't pod until Thursday, so of course that's just how it works out. We have Auburn defeated Michigan State to head over to the Final Four. Florida, a nail biter versus Texas Tech. They almost did not come out with that win. I did forget his name, unfortunately, but the one of the players for Florida. I'm gonna pull it up as I speak, but he caught fire at the right time for Florida. Right at that end of the second half, and he went ballistic. Walter Clayton Jr. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see the highlights or maybe watch the game, but yeah, he went crazy at the end of the second half. He was hitting shots. And this is so difficult for me to describe, but he was hitting shots where it's like you can't describe it as shooting off the dribble. It's more like he was running towards a three-point shot, if that makes sense. Like he was catching the ball and just running towards the three-point line to chuck up a three, and then he would just drain it. Like it can't even be described as shooting off the dribble because like it's
The weirdest heat checks.
it was desperation, bro, and every single time he was just draining them. He had a phenomenal game, scored 30 points in total, caught fire at the end of that game, and led them to the Final Four. I saw a post that said, this is the last thing I'll say. I saw a post that said, Walter Clayton Jr. played so good that we forgot his first name was Walter. And then we have, what was that? Texas Tech versus Florida. Then we have, of course, my favorite Duke Blue Devils, who I believed were going to be challenged by Alabama. That did not happen. We blew them out of the water, 20-point game. I did think Alabama was going to give us one hell of a match, but Arizona gave us more competition
Nah.
than that. We made it to the Final Four. And then Houston defeats Tennessee for the first time in a very long time. All 4 number 1 seeds make it to the Final Four. Not a common occurrence in the NCAA. There's always going to be a sleeper that manages to get to the end. Not this year. All four of the first seeds this year made it to the Final Four. That leads
Which is like
Florida.
an anomaly.
Yeah, that leads Florida versus Auburn, and then Houston versus Duke. My personal preference, of course, is going to be Duke versus Florida. And I, of course, believe Duke is going to take that. And this is 100% not a Duke fan speaking. From a college basketball fan perspective, Duke is the best team in college basketball right now. They are something special. They surrounded, for the first time in years, I've seen a team genuinely be built around their number 1 recruit. And that doesn't happen. They're typically just going after recruits. You know what I mean? Just typically going for the best players possible. But, like, the team that they surrounded Cooper Flagg with is just the perfect team for him to go out there and just dominate every night. The shooters that we have, the rebounders and the post players, it fits him perfectly. And I think Duke is the best team in
Zion
basketball right now.
They tried to do that too, but then unfortunately Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett just forgot how to shoot. Because all through high school they were touted as like the epitome of like 3-and-D players, and then they get to college and they just suck.
Yeah,
I think they tried before.
Yeah, I think they tried, but I don't think most teams are successful. I think it's all about just kind of putting together the best recruits you can and filling the gaps. But I think Duke did a phenomenal job. But it's college basketball. I could care less whatever happens. I still consider Duke the best team. Win or lose, I think it's completely possible that Houston can pull off an upset. I think it's completely possible that Auburn or Florida can pull off an upset because it's one game. You know what I mean?
I think Houston. Yeah, I think Houston's going to win. But real quick, just before we move on past this, like Florida's really good, and Florida's huge. Like I got to watch them play. That is a big, big team. They're just probably as big as like Duke. So like that's going to be a good matchup. I don't think it's going to be one of those like skate games for Duke. I think this is going to be like down to like the final minutes for sure.
Well, if they play Florida, that means they have to beat Houston. So contradicting that.
Oh, wait, I thought you said Florida and Duke were playing.
No, Duke. I said Florida and Duke in the finals. That's what I believe is going to happen.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard something else.
Duke's playing
Houston. Oh, yeah, they should both win their games.
Houston's
a good team, though. Houston's a good team, and they're pretty old. And they're really good defenders, so I don't know. That's going to be a good game. The defense travels.
Houston has a better chance of giving us a run for our money. I genuinely did think Alabama was going to do something, but they kind of just in the second half. And Cooper Flagg.
Alabama's like the best scoring offense in the college, right? They're the best scoring offense, right?
I'm not entirely sure. It's possible. They were not in this game, I'll tell you that much. But that is it for college basketball. Let us know in the comment section what's your prediction. Who's going to head over to the finals and who is going to take home the NCAA trophy. I got Duke. If you don't, then you're wrong. But let's move on. I also had a conversation. I did originally have a little game that I wanted to play about Cooper Flagg, but we did a different game before we started the pod for content purposes. So I'm actually just going to pose this as a question instead of a game. Just curious. Cooper Flagg is quite arguably one of the most highly hyped and touted college prospects in years. You know what I mean? Like he has received the level of expectations that players, in my opinion, like a Zion or like I can't think of any other college players on top of my head, like a Blake Griffin, players like that who were seen coming out of college as the next big thing in NBA basketball. And of course, we know it doesn't work out for all of them, but it works out for a solid, majority of them. I have 6 players here. I'm curious from a hype perspective, from a projection, from a potential perspective. We know some of these players that I'm going to mention are obviously incredibly difficult or impossible to ever be better than. I want to make sure we understand that. But from a college or, some of these guys are going to be out of high school. From a before the NBA, before they touch foot in the NBA, from a pure potential perspective, do you believe Cooper Flagg has a higher potential at that point than these players I'm about to mention? All right. ignore their careers. We know these players were phenomenal. Ignore how their careers went out.
Well, we based
All
off
right?
the conversation back then, the
Exactly.
projections back then, and the hype.
Just the
Exactly.
hype. Just the hype.
Just the
Yeah,
hype
the
of
hype.
that player. Do you believe Cooper Flagg is a more hyped and higher potential player? All right. So starting with one of the most decorated college players of all time, if not the most decorated college player of all time, formerly known as Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Do you believe Cooper Flagg has a higher potential than what we believed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had?
Man, that's a tough
Kareem
one
was
for me
playing
to
with grown
even,
men
like.
at 17, bro, and he's cooking them.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Kareem had a higher ceiling.
I
From a
can't really
projection.
predict that because I wasn't there. I can't predict that. It's
Now,
hard for me
Kareem
to like,
Abdul-Jabbar was
say
probably
he
the
was.
But the
first.
conversations about Kareem were crazy back then. It
Yeah,
was
Kareem-
like you hear him talk about it himself.
Educate me.
Kareem was
Educate me.
probably the
Educate me
first
on that.
major college athlete to receive that level of expectation, as opposed to maybe maybe Wilt, maybe Bill, but I think it was different for them. I think Kareem was like that first mainstream college player. It was like everybody was like, this is going to be the greatest player that ever existed in the NBA. And until Magic and Bird came, that quite arguably could have been true. You know what I mean?
Right now, Kareem
Yeah.
is considered one of the GOAT college players ever.
Yeah, I think he
Like,
is the
ever.
GOAT college player. I think he is the GOAT, the greatest college player of all time.
He played all 4 years or 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had to play all
it
four
might have
years.
been 3.
I think
It
back
was-
then
it
you
was
had to play all
at
4
least
years.
3. I think so too.
Yeah, at least 3 for sure. Back then, it wasn't a common thing to come out of the NBA or come out of college your first year. Then we have another player who I think people actually go under the radar here. They don't actually know the hype this player had coming out of college. But this player, even though his career did turn out phenomenally, did not live up to the hype that was expected out of him. Because this player 100% was considered to be the next big thing. And it didn't quite turn out the way he wanted it to, but he did have a legendary career. Hall of Famer New York Knick Patrick Ewing. Does Cooper Flagg have a higher ceiling than what we thought of Patrick Ewing?
Jesus Christ, Nas. These players. 2000
I think
so
least,
because
brother.
of-
Golly.
Because of the social media, though. I think social media made it easier for us to watch Cooper Flagg earlier, so we already built up that hype. And a lot of people do believe that. I don't think that there was ever a time where Patrick Ewing was the best at his position. And I think the same thing is kind of expected with Cooper Flagg. He's going in as a number 1 pick, not to be a franchise changer, but to be like someone similar to like a Jaylen Brown. Like that is the expectation for him when it comes to impact. And I think Patrick Ewing was about that, or maybe even less. I think.
Cooper Flagg, higher ceiling than Patrick Ewing at this point in their lives?
I do think so.
I agree.
I don't know much about Patrick, so I'm not gonna lie. That guy's career is very infamous to me.
Yeah, Patrick Ewing was also
honest with
very
you.
highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Very highly recruited coming out of college. Next up, Magic Johnson.
No, he went to Georgetown.
Johnson,
Oh,
absolutely
nah.
not, bro.
Nah,
Absolutely not.
I agree.
nah.
I
It's not
agree.
even close.
I
Magic
agree.
Johnson and LeBron are 1A and 1B for me.
I agree. Yeah, I'll take Magic Johnson's potential over Cooper Flagg's potential. Of course, we know the outcome of it, but at that point in their lives, yeah, I think Magic Johnson was seen as more more
If
potential.
high
than
schoolers
Cooper
could
Flagg.
go to the NBA, Magic Johnson would have been one of the few who could do it. If high schoolers could go to the NBA,
Back then,
It's
for sure.
possible.
interestingly enough.
Then we have one of the most recent college phenoms. Definitely one of the players who had some of the greatest hype coming right out of high school, coming right out of college. Another Duke Blue Devil, Zion Williamson. Whose ceiling do you think
Nah.
is higher?
Zion's bigger.
Zion's supposed to be
You think so?
LeBron. Zion's supposed to be LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think so?
Hell
You think
yeah.
Zion's
Hell
He
yeah.
was compared to
was
LeBron.
expected higher than Coops?
Yeah.
Ooh, that might be the
Coop's
first
not-
time I disagree.
Coop's not. What?
Bro, Zion's
saw
hype.
Zion
It was compared
everywhere.
to Charles Barkley.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Bro, Zion had people talking about him on Comedy Central specials, bro. Like 40-year-old men would talk about Zion and like fangirl about him.
He was
Nah,
on
I
SNL.
saw
I
it.
can see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
No
Jokes
arguments.
about
No arguments.
Yeah.
These next two I think are obvious, but I'm just curious to see how close the battle is here. Cooper Flagg is very, very hyped. I just want to put that out there. He is extremely hyped. He might just make a
For
list,
sure.
a top 10 most hyped college players. I think he does make that list. He's been
For
amazingly
sure.
hyped. But these next two are easy, I think. But let's see what you guys think. Victor Wembanyama did not play in college, but still hyped coming into the draft, of course. Still
I think
qualifies.
Victor's bigger than him,
Dude,
too.
he's one of the most
Victor was
hyped
hyped for
people we've
like
ever
2-3
seen.
years. Yeah, Victor
Yeah,
was
he was
hyped for like
hyped
3
in-
years. I
in
knew about
middle
Victor
school,
like when he
bro.
was 17. Yeah, like I knew about Victor a while ago. Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
We started hearing
Y'all
about him in
convinced
8th
me.
grade.
Oh,
like
y'all
January.
convinced me. I believe it. And then last but not least, the most hyped player in the history of basketball, the prodigy,
Yeah.
the prince that was promised, the current king of the NBA, LeBron James.
Not close. I mean, it was hyped since he was
Junior.
a freshman in high school. Yeah, 8th
Do we
grade.
think a player could ever receive that level of superstardom
No.
in high school?
And what's
No.
crazy
LeBron
is
came
that
out
we
at
didn't
the
like
perfect
the
time.
internet. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say like he was around the magazine time, but he's also like at the brink of the internet and at the brink of like cable TV being like its best it's ever been at the time. That's when we were able to like. I know this is a weird thing to bring up, but we were able to like record games and save them into our DVRs, so we watch these games over again. Like he was part of the internet when it first. He's Soldier Boy of the NBA to me. That's how I view LeBron. The first to do
He really is.
first to do this and the first to do that.
Yeah.
He's like the Soldier Boy of the NBA. That's the best way I can put it, bro. He got to join the internet when the internet evolved, like for sure.
For someone to ever get as popular as LeBron, we would have to create some new form of entertainment, and they would have to be coming up right as that became really popular. Because we get the internet in like the late 90s,
Yeah.
but it's not popular yet until the early 2000s. That's when everyone starts getting on,
Yeah.
and LeBron's everywhere. He's all over websites, all over news
Keep
articles.
in mind,
You have to create some form of new
Yeah.
entertainment for that to happen.
and keep in mind, his high school games were on ESPN regularly, like
Yeah.
all the time.
Regular high school games.
He was always
in
on
season,
ESPN.
not even tournament, like no playoffs. just
Not
regular
even top 10
games.
teams. It's just crazy, bro. And he
Yeah,
was
I agree.
performing great,
He's crazy.
well.
I think. Who do you think is the second most though? Because I personally think Zion is right behind LeBron.
Yeah, college hype.
Zion, yeah, Zion's different, bro. I remember I was watching freshman videos of Zion, like dunking on people, like it's insane, like crazy.
If not, I think Kareem
wrong
also
with my
has a
camera?
good fight there in that conversation.
I think Kareem's top
He
3.
actually probably is number one, but I wasn't alive back then. I'm gonna be real.
The way you guys talk about, I think Wilt's up there too, to be honest, bro. Because Wilt was, I mean, I know it's before Kareem, but like he was very sought after, like big time,
Yeah, Wilt's
big
level.
The
time.
thing with Wilt, he's big in the area, not big nationally, but he's huge in the area. There's articles about him too in the newspapers.
Yeah, Kareem
Yeah.
Kareem came into the league at a point where the league was just starting to make their stride to try and get into that mainstream sports world. And luckily for him, he stuck around long enough to go through that Magic and Bird phase where they finally just turned into the
Yeah.
most mainstream sport.
Yeah.
Wilt was at a point where I don't even think people really cared what the fuck basketball was back then. To be honest, it was a baseball,
Not at all, not at
football
all.
town. Baseball, football.
Let me
and
tell you something
probably
about Wilt
hockey.
though.
Yeah,
Wilt used to play. Wilt was known in like Philadelphia and Pennsylvania as a whole. I remember reading about it. He used to have a fake name though, called George Marcus, that he would use when he was in high school to play against other grown men.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's insane.
yo, Wilt was a professional wrestler in the WWE for like 2 or 3 years, or like some type of wrestling for like a little bit too. Y'all gotta look that shit up. That shit's crazy. I think he boxed
He was
Muhammad
a
Ali
99%.
too.
Yeah. Well, could be one of our fathers, and we would never know, or one of our fathers' fathers.
Man,
Golly.
man.
Fathers.
Kangas Kong of basketball.
Well, moving on to the
These
next
Otter
topic.
Porters, Dad.
We got a variety of different topics here today. Some quick, some might cause some debate. But first one, I think will be a quick hitter here. We got the Pacers scored 162 points. What are your thoughts, fellas?
Yeah.
What do you think about NBA basketball now?
I miss my old basketball.
Listen,
In
there's no need for
regulation,
defense when you have
by the
double
way.
the offense.
In regulation, by the way, 4 quarters, 12 minutes each, no overtime.
That's crazy. There's no defense at all.
You know what they
Zero
say?
defense
The
was
best
played.
defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it was a mission accomplished as a committee. Like they didn't have anybody that went out there and scored 40 or nothing like that. Like everybody was like in the 10s, in the 20s. I don't even think they had that. I don't even think they had anybody scored 30. If they did, they maybe had one person. But it was really just done by committee, and they just blew. I don't even know who they played, but they blew them out of the water. That's for damn sure.
We do gotta like give them some props though, because like the Pacers, they've been playing this style of basketball for like the last 2 or 3 years. It's high tempo, run and gun basketball. They've been very successful. I mean, they've gotten to like the second round of the playoffs. Like at some point, you know, it's not. It's a fluke. Yeah, it's not like a fluke thing, bro. Like that's a good offensive team, like a great. We got to give Rick Carlisle some props on that offensive team, and they've got some good players too. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, Rick Carlisle has always been capable of making the best out of his rosters. He was Dallas Mavericks coach. He did what he could with that old ass group. He was even the Indiana Pacers coach back in the Ron Artest days.
Yeah, he was.
Malice in the Palace days. But yeah, just something quick that I wanted to mention. Were you going to say something, Tyler?
They beat the Wizards.
Oh,
yeah.
Wizards?
They beat the Wizards 162-109.
Yeah, a little bit more understandable now. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a 53-point loss, if I'm not mistaken. That is crazy.
Real quick, guys, what happened to Alexander Starr? Or Sarr, whatever his last name is. He's just gone. The abyss. He's doing good, but no one's talking about him.
Because all these rookies suck.
Because he's not that great, and he came in as a non-shooter who shoots a lot. He shoots way too many threes. He shoots a lot of mid-ranges too, and that's. I mean, they're going to develop him at some point, maybe, but he's not playing a style that works for him. I don't think.
He's really good on 2K.
I don't think anybody in the Wizards is playing a style that works for them.
Yeah.
Poole is.
The Wizards themselves are playing a style that doesn't work for them, like as a team.
Yeah,
I feel bad for Chris Middleton,
professionally.
I blame Kuzma. He should have never made those comments last year about the Pistons. He should have never said that. And it's because now they're cursed. Now the basketball guys are like, okay, you want to talk shit? These kids, they're trying their hardest out here. You got their parents watching, and you going to talk shit about them like that? All right, now we're going to turn the table on y'all. Now y'all going to be that team where everybody's going to say, don't be that team. Sorry, motherfuckers.
The thing is that they're not that young, though.
They're pretty young. Well, now they're not because they got Chris Middleton. That doesn't count. They just did that.
Outside of that, they're pretty young. Most of them are under 25.
Yeah, they're pretty young.
Oh, okay.
They got Chris Middleton and Malcolm Brogdon. That's about it that I can think of.
They can trade both of them, too.
But that was just a quick hitter there. Then we got LaMelo Ball is done for the season. Not unexpected whatsoever. Me and my friends had a conversation about it. Even if he were to play the rest of the season, he still wouldn't reach 60 games. So, it doesn't even matter. LaMelo Ball, the question stands, is LaMelo Ball a bad investment right now?
Yes. Unless you're a small market team that needs to make money like the Hornets, it's a terrible investment outside of that.
I can't say that. He's damn near averaged 30 damn near in the beginning of the year. I just think it's just the team's not healthy. But I do think that
has nothing to do with the team, though. He's not healthy. His injuries have nothing to do with his team.
Well, no.
It's
hard to win when your best players are out. Like Brandon Miller's arguably their second best player.
But that doesn't have anything to do with.
We decided that.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the money they're putting into LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball himself is injured. That's the question. Is he an investment? Is he a good investment right now?
No, he's not. He is.
Yeah.
He's a great investment. I just think things aren't panning out the way in the timeline that they want, but I don't think he's a bad investment at all. He's arguably could
Pluto.
potentially be in the next 2 or 3 years the top three point guard, bro.
I think you're
He's hurt a
misunderstanding what
lot
it
though,
is.
bro. But
I think you're misunderstanding what an
let me
a
give you
investment
an
lot of
is.
idea.
players. Steph Curry's
Let me
career
give you
was
guys an idea real
horrible in the
quick.
beginning, injury prone.
Pluto, he has averaged 46 games throughout the 5 years that he's been in the league every season. 46. He has had only one season, only one that he's gotten over 60 games so far. And he only has 2 seasons where he's gotten over 50.
How many years has he played? 5 before, right?
Yeah, his career is not
5?
comparable to Stephen Curry at all. It's not comparable at all. Stephen Curry missed one season because of his ankle injuries. The other seasons, he was just missing a few games here and there. But it was always an ankle injury, so everybody was always worried about what his ankles could turn out to be. But Stephen Curry was playing 70 games consistently the first 6 or 7 years of his career. 70 games consistently.
Whereas the Balls, all of them were constantly injured, unfortunately. Like, not even just LaMelo, Lonzo, even Jello has gone through injuries.
I mean,
to answer my own question, I
didn't
do not
see
believe. I do not believe LaMelo Ball is a good investment right now. It's unfortunate, but it's something that you're just gonna have to wait out. You don't have a choice. I mean, it's just how that works. You put the money into it. You just have no choice but to wait it out. I also
I
do not
guarantee
believe.
you put a player like him in a winning environment. I don't think he's as hurt anymore. I think he's playing like he hasn't
He's a
had a chance
winning
to play
player.
winning basketball though. Yeah, but he hasn't had a chance to learn how to win though. He's in a loser ass organization. Like I mean, it's just I know he's not playing. He's hurt, but the situation isn't better.
But
It's
LaMelo
not
has
the best
also
place to
never
want to
shown
learn
us a
basketball.
winning. But LaMelo has never shown us a winning mentality. He's never been that type of player.
He's also
High school overseas,
hasn't
he's
had the
never.
coach. Go ahead, my bad.
High school overseas, he's never shown us that he is about winning. Since I've known of LaMelo Ball, I've always seen him as a player who is just interested in being a superstar. He doesn't look to me like somebody who's out there worried about winning. And it's because he's young. I think he will turn it around. I think he will eventually lock in, but they're gonna need to put somebody in that locker room to lock him down.
No,
because
he needs to get traded. I think he needs to get traded. I think that he needs to go somewhere else. I think he needs a fresh start.
Yeah, they either need to put
For
somebody
sure,
in
for
that
sure.
locker room that's going to lock him in somehow, or they need to send him to another locker room that's going to do it. Because as of right now, the organization is terrible. I'm sure they're going to have to come to that
Yeah.
realization that I don't think they ever will, but they're going to have to come to that realization they're not a good organization. They don't make good moves. They don't make good decisions. And then LaMelo is also going to have to come to a realization that this organization isn't working. They're not teaching me anything. But with all the money that's coming his way, with all the endorsement deals, with all the shoe deals, with being the franchise player, the way that he has presented himself since I've known of him, I don't think he wants to go anywhere where he's not the what's the word, the poster child. I don't think he wants to do that. I really
I don't
don't.
think so either.
Yeah.
He wants to be the number one guy on whatever team he's on, I think. Because he plays like that consistently wherever he's been. Nothing
And one
changed.
I mean, I don't know
He
if you
hasn't
guys
improved.
remember, like LaMelo was on a championship winning team with his brothers, like, and just throwing that out there in high school. I don't think he doesn't
because
know
of
how
his
to
brother.
win.
Because his brother was there.
He-
Lonzo is different than LaMelo. Lonzo has been a
Number
winning
one
type of
after they
player.
left.
Yeah, Lonzo has been a
I'm
winning
pretty
type
sure
of
he
player.
took. But hold on, I'm pretty sure he's also took the Australian team to the playoffs as well. Like I'm just saying, where like the places where he didn't win, he like left unexpectedly, like before the
No,
season
his
ended.
Australian teams were not that good.
The Australian team didn't make the playoffs.
His
They
his
make the
Australian
playoffs.
teams were not that good, and
I thought they
played
did.
He played in some other league, which I don't think we'll ever even know what it was. But he
The
played in some other
Lithuania
league.
League, he played for a junior Lithuania League.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he did. But he barely played.
He's taken a very odd route to the NBA. It worked out for him, though. Of course, I got nothing to say about
Yeah,
that.
for
But
sure.
at the end of the day, Alonzo was the winner of the family in that situation. He was the culture builder in the family, and he has been that everywhere
For
he's
sure.
gone. He was that in New Orleans. I can't say he was that in the Lakers because, of course, that situation was different. But he was that in UCLA.
He was too young.
He was that in New Orleans, and he's been that in Chicago. You know, that's how a player is supposed to conduct themselves when they want to show the world that I'm here for the right reasons. You can make money and win, and a lot of these players don't understand that. Like, you can change your way of playing and still get the same contract. You don't need to average 30 to get $50 million a year. You don't got to do all this flashy stuff to get $50 million a year. Lesser players than you, and I put that in quotations, lesser players than him are making the same amount, if not more. And that's just me saying lesser based on the common consensus. I don't think he's better than, for example, Jaylen Brown. But Jaylen Brown makes more money than him. You get what I mean? And Jaylen Brown isn't going out there to do what LaMelo Ball is doing. He's just going out there to do what he needs to do, whatever is asked of him. You know what I mean? Can Jaylen Brown average 30 on a bad team? 100% he could.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Real quick. No, it's you two, just to get this going. If it was his contract year, would you guys re-up?
No.
Or would you guys let him walk?
As the Hornets organization,
you're letting
as myself, no.
No. I'm asking if you were a GM with the Hornets right now, you're not re-upping?
I'm trading him.
You're just gonna let him walk?
Because I'm not gonna give him a max.
No. It's contract.
And he's not gonna take anything but the max.
I'll sign and trade. Sign and trade. We'll send you wherever you want to go. Sign a contract with us, and we'll trade you. Let us get something in return. You want to go? You want to go? We're okay with that.
Okay, so with that question,
I'm not offering him $55 a year.
So where are you sending him though? Who is giving him that?
I don't even know.
Nah, I'm just saying.
People were saying, Pluto, if no team is willing to offer him that, we don't see him in the trade rumors. Why is that not happening? And it's because
he is.
He's not a reliable
He's been in the trade rumors with the Clippers. Sadly, I follow LaMelo a lot. He's been in the trade rumor for the Clippers for a minute now.
To become a second or
like
third
a
option.
hot minute.
To become a second or third option. Which just goes back to my point. But teams, I do believe NBA teams do not see him as a franchise player. I don't think they should. And it is on him. He can learn though. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not sitting here trying to tell the world that it's impossible for LaMelo Ball to turn it around and get healthy and play winning basketball. But we have to stop blaming everybody around the star when we like the star. You know what I mean? Because we like this guy, it's everybody else's fault. LaMelo plays a gigantic role in why the Hornets are bad. You are the one that leads the pack. You can play differently to make this work. And we've seen players understand that before. And we've seen players that don't understand that. And we're actually going to talk about one of them. We see players who are too focused on getting the bag, too focused on being the best player on the team, and do not want to be willing to sacrifice because winning is not what they want. And we're actually going to talk about one of those guys. And he's a Hall of Famer now. You know what I mean? So, like, some players learn, some players don't. And when you don't learn, your career is going to have a lot of asterisks.
Also, the other thing is, while LaMelo looks very good, statistically, he's not a great player. For his career so far, he's averaging 21-7, 3.3 turnovers a game, 3 fouls a game. For his career, he's shooting 42% from the field, 36% from 3. He's not a good finisher. Everybody has always talked about that with LaMelo. He's not a good defender. So if the only thing you can get out of him is, you know, the 21 points and the 7 assists on arguably bad shooting with also bad turnovers, and he's not healthy, is like what's the path forward with him? What do you do with him?
What are we paying for? That's what it comes down to. What exactly am I paying for? I'd rather start over. That's my thought process.
Especially as the Hornets,
you,
bro.
Orlando.
The Hornets, we know that the Hornets are going to suck. There's no expectations for the Hornets right now. There's just none.
I just don't
move on from Melo.
There's not at all. Yeah, but that's not because of Melo. That's because of the Hornets not being a good franchise.
No,
I think
Melo
it's
is
like
a part
parts.
of that. Melo is a part
He
of that.
hasn't had the
Stop saying
coach,
that.
though. He hasn't had a coach. No, but that's not fair to tell somebody who's came to the NBA at a young age, yo, like he's what 23, 24. He hasn't had a good coach. He hasn't had a notable coach. Maybe the last Hornet coach. That was a
Steve
good
Clifford,
coach.
who's not a bad coach ever. Steve Clifford,
He's not an NBA coach
one of
as
the
a
worst
head
Magic
coach
rosters
at all.
I've ever seen. Steve Clifford, with one of the worst Magic teams I've ever seen, was in the playoffs consistently.
Who
He
gave
was
him a
coaching
job?
the Hornets before
Where's his
LaMelo got
job
there,
at?
and they were in the playoffs. I don't know what he's doing
So,
right now.
where's he at now, though?
Uh,
Okay, then. My question exactly, bro. They haven't really gave him, like, I don't think they've given him enough. I mean, everybody they gave him is young. It's like they're building, they haven't gave him they had Kimball Walker there, but they haven't gave him, like, an older vet to, like, help him, like, learn the game. They didn't set him up properly. Nothing they did for him was set up for him to be groomed into a good player. He got thrown into a situation and was told dance. And then he just danced like he's always done in every situation. I don't think it's fair to hold these stats against him without having a winning team ever. Like, it's different if I could see him in a situation where, oh, okay, LaMelo did come up short and his other players did come to play. But the other players don't even come to play.
I can tell you for sure he did, though.
Like,
but wait, so Pluto, let me give you this. Let me help you keep this in mind. Steve Clifford started
he's a
head
bad
coaching
player
in
when he
2013.
has-
From 2013 to 2020, he had at least a 50% win record every season. At least. Since drafting Melo, he has not gone above 30. It's Melo.
I'm sorry,
Melo's a big
Tyler,
part of it.
I get where you're
He
coming
absolutely
from.
is.
Doc River has a job over him. Doc River has a job over him right now. So I don't want to. If he was a good
he's in the front
coach,
office
he'd
for
have
the-
a job. No, he
Yeah,
would have
but
a job.
It's not even about Steve Clifford. That doesn't
Steve Clifford
just-
got promoted.
At all. I don't think it's. I think it's an overall thing. I don't think it's
It's
just
not even
LaMelo.
about Steve
I think
Clifford. The only point that
I don't
I'm
think it's
trying to
just
make
LaMelo.
is that we have to hold every person in a franchise accountable. I hate the conversation that it's not one person's fault because they are putting on a show. I've always hated that conversation. It doesn't make sense to me. Every individual in the franchise that is a part of this losing legacy is at fault. Everybody. And that includes the coaches that they've hired and fired. That includes the players that they signed and waived. That includes LaMelo Ball.
That includes your GOAT.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. That includes Michael Jordan. That definitely includes Michael Jordan. That's goddamn
He's one of
sure.
the worst owners ever.
That's damn sure. It
He's one of
definitely
the
includes
worst
Michael
owners.
Jordan. Michael Jordan might be
Okay.
more to blame than
He
LaMelo,
hasn't
but
been
we don't have to
set
get
up.
into that conversation. My point is everybody is
He
to
has
blame,
been
and I
set
just
up though.
my point is everybody is to blame, and I wish as fans we were more willing to understand that this is not one person or a group of people. It is every single individual that is involved. I can even place some blame on the trainers, man. What the fuck are y'all doing with that man? Why does he keep getting hurt? Y'all don't got no groundbreaking treatments to give him or something? Y'all don't got some experimental shit to try? Like, what the fuck? Why does he keep getting injured, man? Like, do
He's
something.
had the same body type since he's come in the league.
Y'all got some injections,
That's where he's
bro?
wrong, though.
Do something illegal. I don't know.
He's had the same body type, though. Since he's gotten to the league, he hasn't put on any real weight. He hasn't got stronger, and that's on him. That is on him, though. That is extracurricular activities after the season's over. That's working out after every game. Try to keep your physique. That I do blame on him. But when it comes to, like, the culture-wise
I don't think he's
and, like,
interested in improving.
everything else that's failed him,
LaMelo's not
I
a
think that
rookie
could be a
anymore.
sign of not wanting to get better.
LaMelo's not a rookie
He's not,
anymore.
but he's
He
also
has to get it
very,
right.
very young, though. He's a very, very young talent.
We wouldn't
For
give
sure, though.
any
I agree
other.
with you guys.
LaMelo was hyped coming into the league. LaMelo was hyped coming into the league. We would not give anybody else with that much
More
hype.
hype
This
than
much
Anthony
leverage.
Edwards.
We would not.
He's
Yeah, but I
more
don't
hyped
think
than
he's
Anthony
flopped,
Edwards
though,
in
bro.
the same draft.
And Anthony
There's so
Ed-
many people in the 2020
Anthony
draft.
Edwards had better
that get over.
coaches, better teammates, better GMs, a better culture.
We would
Better
not give
point
anybody else
guard,
this benefit
better
of the
team.
doubt.
We just started thinking about that. We only started thinking about that for the Timberwolves last season. We were not thinking about that for the Timberwolves before then. They didn't make the playoffs until 2
But-
years ago. They've both been in the league for 5 years.
Bro. Yeah, but the team's always been better than his team. They
Since
traded for.
when, though? I don't
They actually
remember that
got
being a
better.
talking subject.
They traded for Rudy. They always try to get better. They traded for Rudy. They kept Nas. They
I
win it
agree,
like they've
but
always
there's no point
gotten
in trading
better.
away assets to make the Hornets better when LaMelo's going to be injured. He's not going to be playing.
I didn't think it's the
Why would you trade everything away
that
for
again.
players that are not there?
That's on him not taking training serious, and I think Lonzo needs to talk to him because Lonzo made a serious change when he got into the NBA and changed his physique. I will say that. I think that comes
He
with
also changed his
maturity,
play
and I think
style.
that
Lonzo changed everything, bro.
yeah, and that has a lot to do with injury too. But I'm done with this. I'm done with this. Come on,
But yeah,
I'm off this.
ultimately, I think we all did agree, whether or not Orlando wants to admit it or not, LaMelo Ball is a bad investment right now. There's a lot of money being invested on a player that is not able to stay on the court and has not proven that he is capable of making a change on a team. And 5 years is a good enough sample size to understand, are you going to make changes to this franchise and help us because we're paying you a lot of money to do it. Next up, though, somebody who was blamed for a team's success, apparently. I guess now when a team does well, you get fired. Taylor Jenkins was fired from the Memphis Grizzlies. A lot of rumors and a lot of reports going out saying that they were not a fan of his usage of Ja Morant. That's one of the most common things I've heard so far. Do you guys feel like Ja Morant was being misused in Memphis for some reason?
Can I can I say something about the Taylor Jenkins firing specifically, rather than just the Ja Morant part?
Yeah.
Or do we want to go to that part first?
No, go ahead. No matter to me.
So I'm going to give you guys some numbers. The Grizzlies right now, I believe they're 44-31 or 44-30. I'm going to go 44-31. All right, 44-31. That's their current record right now. It's over 500. They're doing great. They are 33-9 against teams below 500. 33-9 against teams below 500. They are 44-31. How bad did they do against teams that are above 500?
I'm not interested in math right now.
Really
Could you
bad.
just tell us?
They're
Yeah, for real.
11-22 against teams that are above 500 right now. They looked like a good team
Just like the
statistically.
Knicks.
They had one of the easiest schedules because they are 33-9 against below 500 teams, and they've only won 44 games. They have only beaten 11 above 500 teams. Since February 2nd, they have not beaten an above 500 team.
So then Taylor Jenkins is at fault,
Wow.
is what you're saying.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I mean,
Without a doubt.
All right.
yeah, I
well,
kind
there
of
you go.
agree with that too. I mean, I just don't feel like I don't feel like that team was ever like they didn't have an identity for real. Like I don't know what their identity was after they lost Dylan Brooks. Like prior to that, they were kind of like bringing back that grit and grind, like that defense. After they lost Brooks, they lost a couple other pieces. It's just not the same team, and I don't know what they do good or what they're good at. I think with Taylor Jenkins, they were trying to speed up the offense and really run and gun. They were doing 5 in, 5 outs, but like that doesn't work in the NBA. Like neither does it work in college. That's why Calipari had to stop that 1 year. So I don't know. I don't think it was a conducive style or didn't give them a something to hang their head on. Like we're good at this. You know what I'm saying? At one point, they were like a good defensive team. You know, with Jared Jackson and Dylan Brooks. You know, they had players that could guard up. It's just not the same team anymore. Really, it's just now about Zach Edey and the little Asian dude who's killing it at times.
Yeah, I think I don't. I mean, I don't have anything to say about Taylor Jenkins. I don't think he was the coach of the future for them at all. But I also don't think very highly of the Grizzlies. I think they do lack an identity. I don't think they have a true number one option, in my personal opinion. I don't believe John Morant is that. I don't think Jaren Jackson should be a number two option either, or he should not be a number two option
Mm-mm.
to John Morant at least. I'll say that. I don't know, but I know franchises don't look at it that way, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I understand that it's a negative way of thinking, and you have to try and get the most out of what you have. So I get it, but I think good GM work is understanding that maybe just maybe this isn't what's gonna take us to the next level. And you know, I'm a big advocate for this player, but I'll have to throw him under the fire, unfortunately. That is what Pelinka, you know, kind of did with Anthony Davis. The trade was presented to him, and he could have said no. But after dissecting it, after looking at it, he just decided maybe, just maybe, Anthony Davis is not what we need right now. Maybe we should just take this trade for Luka. Um, and it's tough, but sometimes you got to make those types of decisions as a GM and decide, like, you know, maybe we need a better player. Maybe we need a better player than John.
I think though.
Taylor Jenkins can be blamed.
Yeah. I think the hardest,
sure, but I don't know.
I think the hardest thing as a GM is like literally like making a decision, and then 3 or 4 years later, you're like, damn, I made a bad decision. How do I fix this without looking like I don't know what I'm doing? And that's like you're like the ultimate bullshitter at that time. Yeah, like it's a scary job. That's like it's sports. You know what I'm saying? Like managing personalities, managing potential, managing ceilings, like managing contracts, like you're just constantly like rotating a hat of what you're doing and what you're trying to get done. But that's that role in itself, man. The people who can't get it done, you got to give them their hats. And there's not a lot of people who do it well. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who usually do it well, they go to other teams and keep doing it well with the other teams because they have a formula. And that's why I think the guy who's doing ESPN right now, who built the Warriors damn near, when he gets an opportunity, I think when he touches another team, that team is going to be good as well. I just think that translates, and it's hard to lead men.
He already got a job.
He did?
He's already part of the front office.
Yeah, he's in the office
Ooh,
somewhere.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
which?
Yeah, he got a job a while ago.
But Nas knows
I know
though.
that.
Nas, you know from your time with the Serpents, like let's say for example the Serpents, they had contracts and you couldn't just drop people couldn't switch teams. You bring Enrique in and you saw how it turned out with your team, things aren't looking good and now you're stuck with him. Like that one move could just screw over your entire team. Like easy.
Hey, that's
Change the whole chemistry.
That's the hardest part of being a GM is that you have control over the success of your moves. And that's the part that people don't understand. When you make moves, you make them under the definition that these coaches and you know, what else you're hiring, I don't know what else the GMs are responsible for putting on the team, but these people that you bring onto the team, you're doing it under the definition that these guys are going to do, expect them to. So put PG and together with the expectation that these can coexist and lead a team to success. Then the injuries happen. Then they find out that they coexist as best as you thought they could. Then this happens and that happens. You know what I mean? You bring Anthony Davis and together and it worked first year, but then you break it up. Excuse me. Then you break it up. You know what I mean? It's like you can't control. Oh, I can't control sneezing. You can't control what these people that you bring actually do, and that's the hardest part about it. Like, you think it's gonna work. These players prove you wrong, or these coaches prove you wrong, and now you look like you made a bad move. We thought about this. You know what I mean? We sat in the courtroom. We dissected this. We explored options. We looked at different plans, plan B, C, D's, all the way up to Z. You know what I mean? We do that. They don't hit the phone and why don't you come over here? No, they dissect the situation. A group of people come to the decision. This is the right. You know what I mean? I can't just sign a player without getting approved. You know what I mean? So like, it's to GM. That's just to that. It's tough to be a GM. You're not in control of how it's going to turn out. You're only in control of the moves you can make to see if it works out or not.
And that's assuming that like you talk with your ownership team and they say that you're going to be able to make this move in the future. So you make a different move knowing that you're going to have the other one, and now they pull out. Now it's too expensive or something. It's like, damn, now my whole plan is just ruined altogether. I have nothing. I'm at square one now.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's tough to be a GM for sure. But I guess we'll see. If I don't know, they have an interim head coach right now. I imagine this isn't going to be their long-term
really
coach.
good, bro. No. So the rumor is that they made him the head coach to pick him. He was over in Paris, I believe, or France, somewhere in the EuroLeague. I was reading up about some stories about him over the last couple of years. He turned whatever team he came over to into the number one offensive team in the EuroLeague ever, like ever. So they wanted to take a flyer on him. He's actually a big part of the reason that they changed everything with the Grizzlies. You know, they do less pick and roll, they do less ISOs, and it's more cutting, it's more dribble handoffs and things like that because of him.
Well, they are the eighth seed now, so can't exactly say it's working out. Before Taylor Jenkins got fired, they were the fifth seed. Now they're the eighth. So just putting that out there.
Well, the West is also super duper close, man. Come on, don't do
it. It is.
They also haven't beat
bubble,
500 team since February 2nd, bro. It's been 2 months. They just suck.
Bro, but still, they can lose a team and be out of the playoffs. They can lose one game and be out of the playoffs, and then join another and be the 6th seed. So
it is a close race. They were just tied with. Actually, they are currently tied with Grizzlies and the Clippers, and they just don't have the tiebreaker, so they ended up in the last spot available there.
They have the hardest schedule for the rest of the season too. Every one of their teams is some of their teams are 55 and higher.
Random fact, by the way, the Eastern Conference has no teams that can make it into the play-in anymore. All teams 11 through 15 are officially out of contention for the play-in. So the play-in isn't set, but the postseason is set. All 10 teams that are going to make it guaranteed are set. In the West, however,
that's pretty quick.
Yeah, in the West,
are the Bulls on that list?
The Bulls are in the play-in right now. Yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yo, I want to go over our predictions from the beginning of the year and see, because the Rockets.
Yeah, we gotta make new predictions for next week. But in the West, however, 3 teams still have the ability to make it to the play-in. Believe it or not, the 11th seed in the West right now is the Phoenix Suns. Who would have thunk it?
That's crazy.
Who would have thunk it?
Literally everybody.
Who would have
thought it? Yeah, they deserve it, bro.
Thought that.
Who would have thought?
They deserve it.
The basketball gods.
It's the basketball gods.
It's the basketball gods. When you try to take shortcuts, they show you. It's not the way. It happens.
At all.
It happens all the time. But that was just a random fact that I did realize. Zion and CJ McCollum are shut down for the season. Of course,
there's someone else
Murray.
if you look on the list.
Huh?
There's more people if you look on that list too. I think I put another person on there.
Yeah, somebody else did get shut down for the season. I don't remember who it was though. It's not on here.
R&B.
Tyrese Maxey, that's who it was. Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey. I think Joel Embiid happened before. I think we've already potted about it. But
it just happened 2 days ago.
No, it just happened this week.
Yeah, it just happened this week. Tyrese Maxey got shut down for the season. Zion and CJ got shut down for the season as well. I don't have much to say. I mean, the Pelicans were not doing well at all. I don't have much to say. It's probably for the best, and it's also probably for the best for the Sixers as well. They don't have any hopes of making it to the play-in, so they're done. Might as well just take this extra time off. I think this is a conspiracy.
Just give it up, bro.
This is the conspiracy. This is the only thing that I will say about it. I do believe that this is a way to keep the players paid, because if they just sit him out, I don't think he would be eligible to get paid for those games. So I don't know if I believe that he's genuinely injured to the point where he has to sit out the remainder of the season. I don't know if I believe that.
Well, it's possible. I think around this time of the year, the NBA,
I think it's
lenient with that stuff.
Yeah, possibly. But on to the next one, we have LeBron James seems to amaze somebody. I don't know who put it in the notes, but I see it looks like somebody is amazed. LeBron James, 40 years old, apparently was Player of the Month for March. Is that correct?
LeBron.
That's what it says on my notes. Somebody put it on there. But yeah, I don't have much to say. I mean, LeBron, greatest player of all time, if not the second. Just depends on your preference. Everybody has their own, but Can't argue either
He
way.
was on a
whichever direction you go.
hold on, Nas. You're a Lakers fan. He was on a tear in the month of March. Arguably, LeBron. I would say LeBron almost Miami Heat like when it came to the stats. If they actually compared his March stats to his Miami Heat year, and they're actually pretty identical. He turned back time for a little bit. He froze everybody up for a little bit, beat a lot of good teams by himself. And I think LeBron should be on an MVP ballot. I don't think he should be the MVP, but he should definitely be in like at least a fifth or sixth around there. He held it down for a little bit while they were adjusting to Luka and lost AD. The Lakers didn't dip. They didn't really lose a lot of games. So I just wanted to just a little shout out, bro. Like greatness, really, like his greatness is crazy, bro. Like I 20 years, bro. And he's still showing you, like, you know what I'm saying. I still got it. I can still lead a team. We can still win. I can hold it down for a little bit.
Sure?
It's pretty cool, bro.
Are we sure it's March?
I think
though?
he should have won it. Yeah, he won it for February.
March. I'm pretty sure it's
February. Okay.
Oh, February.
I was
my
about
bad.
to say because I just looked at the March numbers.
March,
and
he
it
missed
can't,
like
it can't
8
be
games.
Yeah,
March.
my bad.
I was about to say
he's
he's
the award.
that man averaging 25% from 3 in March. I was like, there's no way that can't be the right month we're talking about.
My bad. He
Okay,
yeah, because I was saying the Luka was around that time.
This is
They give that award. They give that award a month after, so they always give those award a month afterwards.
Okay, this makes a
So
lot
they
more
gave it
sense.
March
a month
4th.
late.
No, they gave it March 4th.
Yeah, they give it the next month. So I think
I'm
you
on the
just saw
website.
it. I think you just saw it late. But yeah, he did win.
I took it back.
Regardless, he
It
did
wasn't
have a
basketball,
phenomenal.
though.
He did have a phenomenal March. 29 points per game, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal. He shot 55% from the field, 44% from 3. He indeed had a phenomenal March. The Lakers looks like they only lost 2 games in the month of February. Looks like we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I'm not mistaken, 10 and 2.
The 2 games that they lost, well, it sucks, bro. They lost against Utah and then the Hornets. They beat every other 500 team that they went against.
It's just a classic case of playing to your competition. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They've always been like that.
Yeah, most teams tend to be. But yeah, he did have a phenomenal month in February. It took us about a month to finally talk about it, but hey, here we are.
My bad, y'all. Sorry. I thought I was on my TL and I didn't read the date, and I guess it was like I have old posts. My bad, y'all.
That's
Need to be on the
fine.
internet more.
Worth mentioning any Lakers success. Lakers and Warriors face off today. Lakers are currently, if I'm not mistaken, 14-8 with Luka Doncic, and the Warriors are 19-4 with Jimmy. I believe those are the correct records. So we're gonna see them face off for the first time since adding those two to their teams. I got the Lakers, of course, but it's an interesting matchup.
No, it's
for
gonna
sure.
be a good game.
But yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
I
to
can't
LeBron,
wait till we
man.
finish spotting.
Yeah, shout out to LeBron and the Lakers, man, doing great stuff. We got a couple things here. I know you wanted to talk about the Rockets here, but I was gonna petition that. We've pretty much said the same thing about the Rockets every week.
Nah, but we didn't expect them to be the number 2 seed, guys.
I don't
The way
expect them to
Tyler
finish as the
Herro
number 2
said-
seed either.
I said them to finish
They
the number
could.
2 seed.
They could, yeah, you're right. They
Look,
definitely could.
The way Tyler
I
Hayes
could
just
win
had
the
on Shea
lottery
is the way
tomorrow.
I hang myself. That's true. Hopefully they don't, because then I'm going to look really bad. But the way Tyler holds Shea up is the way I hold my baby Rockets up, okay? They've been playing great basketball. They've been winning games. Obviously the number 2 seed. And on top of that, my boy, Mr. Green, has been playing basketball good all year this year.
That's
He
not
didn't turn it
true.
off. He didn't turn it on.
That's not true.
He's put.
I don't think so.
Go look it up.
That's not
Not-
true.
not
Go
only-
look it up.
You need to look.
Go look-
Orlando,
go look
we've had conversations on the podcast about how he started this year so bad. Like, we've had it. We've talked about it.
No, he started the year good, and then around like November, December, it was terrible. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
same
the
thing.
month of December was
The-
not a good month for him.
The
Even
season
November,
starts
actually.
at the end of October. So if he started the season good and stopped in November, that means he only played 5 games good. Like, what?
Oh no, go look at his
That's
last 8
exactly
games.
what we're
I'm
saying.
pretty sure. Hopefully it don't bite me in my ass. But go look at his last 8 games.
That's not what we're
Hopefully
saying, though. You
might be in
hate
my-
listening. You hate listening. You hate it.
I know what you guys are saying. You guys are trying to give me an overall picture, but he didn't have a bad season all
Um,
year round. He started picking it up again, I think, in January. I'm pretty sure he
Oh,
started picking
Pluto,
it up
no,
again in
everything,
January.
everything.
His last 8 games were worse than his season average so far.
Yeah, must have been an old post out there. All right, take that for the chin.
All right, so that's
Yeah,
why I tried to give you an out, but you wouldn't listen. I tried to give you an out. I
they're still
tried.
playing good basketball. They're
They
still the second
are.
seed
I just,
in the West.
only thing I care about, bro, is I just want you to just accept that Jalen Green is just not as good as you really think he is. That's all I want you to accept. He's really
I need a
isn't.
team with
You
LaMelo and
talk
Jalen
highly
Green.
about him pretty
I
often,
need a
bro.
team with LaMelo and Jalen.
Remember, I had a whole section about him. He's just not that great, though.
He's
Not
not. The
the guy.
Rockets are great though, and that's all props to the rise of Amin Thompson, All-Star Şengün, Ime Udoka, who was a phenomenal coach. Man, so
Not thanks to
unfortunate.
Sengun. No, not thanks to
Yeah,
Sengun.
Sengun has not been playing good basketball. at all.
He's an all-star. At the end of the day, he's gonna have that on his resume. But yes, I do think the Rockets are playing good though. I do think the Rockets are playing good though. I have nothing against the Rockets. I like the Rockets organization ever since Dwight Howard
The whole
went over
squad
there.
defensively, that they have an identity that the Grizzlies don't, and they somehow built it in less time. Their identity is defense. It is 100%.
Brute
It's almost
force.
bringing Ryan. Yeah,
Brute force.
like
Brute
their
freaking
defense.
force with those wings.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
a great
they are
team. They
very
have to
good
find
team.
their identity at the top though. Like they have to figure out like who are gonna be our go-to guys consistently. Who are we gonna really? Who's gonna carry us when it matters the most? Jalen Green just hasn't been that guy on a consistent basis throughout
I
his
think-
career, and Şengün is. I don't think Şengün. He showed us like that Jokic potential where his play style was very similar to what Jokic likes to do. But I just don't think now he's gonna get to that point. I never thought he was gonna be like Jokic, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
He's
I
close
don't
to
think he can get as
Sabonis.
close as I thought he could have. I really thought he could have gotten close to it, but I don't think he can anymore. Maybe he'll change my mind. He might change my
Yeah.
mind. But as of right now, I don't
Underrated
think
ball
so.
handler though, for sure. He's really underrated ball handler.
He's
but,
a great ball handler.
Phenomenal player.
But yeah, I think moving forward, I'm gonna have to agree with Tyler. Tyler kind of mentioned this about a month ago. I think Thompson is gonna be the face of that team, but I don't think they lose Green. I think Green can learn to be just a run and gun guy, like the scorer for the team. But when it's all said and done, I do think Thompson's gonna be the face of the Rockets in about 2 or 3 years. So I really do agree with that.
I think he will be
Tyler.
next year. I think it's possible for him to be next year.
I think he kind of already is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
I think from
And
the
I think Green's
popularity-
okay with it. That's what makes the transition really good, though. Like Green's okay with him being the face. Like he's said it multiple times. Like he endorses him being that guy. So I'm here for it. If it all works out and people are okay with growing that way, it could definitely be like a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown kind of vibe.
That's what it should
Sure.
be. That's why I always kind of hated the hate that the Jays got. Even though I'm a hater of Jason Tatum myself, but that's only because of like personal reasons. He's an amazing basketball player. But like they're both
He is.
like such unselfish superstars, and you don't ever see that.
They are,
For how great they both are.
and
bro.
they're really
Like,
good
they could
friends.
easily be the number
yeah,
one on our
and they're
team.
really good friends.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like they
that's
ride
levels of
together. You
unselfish
can
you don't
tell
see
that,
it.
like, yeah, like Jaylen Brown, like I can tell took offense to Jason Tatum not playing, and then what happened with like the whole Olympic team. Like I think they like kind of bonded over like how Jason was treated and how Brown was outed. And this season, bro, I honestly I feel like last 3 years they've been the best tandem. I don't think I think they're the best duo in the NBA. The fact that you can get that out of another.
I don't.
That you can get that out of the Rockets at like a great value version right now with that coach who built that. I think that's awesome, bro. I think that's awesome.
I won't harp on it
Sure,
too much
sure.
because I don't want to change the topic. But I don't believe Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were ever at odds with each other. I think that's just the media putting
Ever?
stories
No,
on
no,
there.
no. I never said that.
Yeah. I think they were
I
always
never
friends
thought
or
that
whatever.
either.
But I was doing something, so maybe I just misheard what you were saying. So never mind.
No. They've always been good. I think the media did try to do that. I think around the year they lost to, I think it was LeBron again when they were a little older. Like the media tried to get that drift. They were trying to get one of them traded out.
I think last year was at a peak. I think last year was when the media really was trying to just tear them apart. It was like Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and it's like they're trying to tear them apart.
And it didn't work this season, so they stopped. But like they definitely try every time.
Yeah,
they're just too good.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Rockets. Ultimately, though, they're doing good, and they do have the ability to finish in the second seed. It's not where I would predict them to happen. I do think the way the rest of the season will pan out, I do think they either lose that spot to the Nuggets ultimately, or I genuinely do believe the Lakers can take that spot as well. But
what's crazy is like
the third seed right now. The third seed right now. What the hell?
The third hardest schedule remaining with multiple back-to-backs.
We just beat the Rockets.
They did beat the Rockets.
Use your schedule though.
Huh?
It's about the schedule is the issue, not about the individual
My point
teams.
is, if we can beat the number 2 seed, we can beat anybody else in our way. The fuck? But either way.
But we just said that they're not going to be the number 2 seed. So
that was definitely the fair.
They're the number 2 seed right now. And when we play them, I don't know if we do, but I don't think we play them anymore. But the point is, they're the number 2 seed right now. We beat them. That's what matters. But either way, we got 2 Anthonys on the list to finish off. I mentioned him slightly. Let's start off with. I want to start off with the positive one because I'd love to end the podcast with the negative one, or at least I have negative things to say. I don't know if you guys do.
You're an asshole. You're not going to talk about him like that either, okay?
I am. I have a lot of bad things to say. So we're going to start with the positive one. Carmelo Anthony, ladies and gentlemen, is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony.
No shot there at all. None at all.
First year eligible, first year in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's a college
phenom. Every bit of it.
One of the greatest college players to ever do it at Syracuse. He is an Olympic legend. His NBA career, record-setting, legendary. So,
real quick, Nas, before you get into the career, we got to even start further than that. McDonald's All-American, Oak Hill alumni.
Syracuse.
Like, he was LeBron's biggest matchup when LeBron was in high school. Like he's held that crown of being the second best player, falling short to who for a while, even when he was in NBA. So yeah, we gotta give him that for sure.
Hey man, rookie.
But go ahead, Nas. Keep going.
Rookie year. He's one of the only rookies, or probably the only rookie who won Rookie of the Month for his conference every single month and did not win Rookie of the Year.
And did not win Rookie of the Year.
He might have been snubbed.
I remember. Yep.
He might have been
an argument for a snub.
Yeah, he might have been snubbed. But LeBron was the prince that was promised, as I said earlier. But shout out to Carmelo Anthony.
That's a crazy bar.
Phenomenal career. Even post.
Can I say something about Carmelo real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
His son was left out of the McDonald's All-American game.
Rightfully so.
His son's good
and
too. His son's really good.
His son is a highly drafted prospect. What do you mean, rightly so?
Number 1 ranked high school player in New York.
I don't believe he would have. I don't believe he should have been over any of the guys who got selected.
We'll have to agree to disagree here.
The only reason I say that, and this
I don't really know enough.
It will make more sense. The only reason I say that is because I cannot put him over anybody if I don't know anybody. Like that's
So he's a top 30 prospect. That's why it's kind of wild. I don't know many top 30 prospects that didn't make it.
But at the end of the day, we don't know anything about those players that didn't make it. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, it's like, how can I say that he should have been on there when I can't even name the roster? You know what I mean? That's unfair.
His draft class, though.
That's unfair to me to say to those players.
Though. Yeah, his draft class is super strong.
Yeah, he has a strong one. 2026 is pretty strong.
Yeah, they're super strong, bro. They got that kid going to BYU. He looks like a freak of nature.
He's also going to Syracuse, following along the footsteps of his Papa Bear.
I like that.
But shout out to Carmelo Anthony, and shout out to Cayenne. He is a good player, and I like what Carmelo Anthony's doing with him. But what I was going to say about Carmelo Anthony is shout out to him. Post-career also has been phenomenal as well. He's put together some great investment in companies that he started, wine business, the podcast. Also taking into consideration team ownership in the future as well. He's talked about that on his podcast. So just overall, just a phenomenal athlete and all around, just successful, father figure and successful, influence in the world. I'm sure he would have wanted more out of his NBA career. Didn't get to the positions where he would have wanted to be in. but got paid and made generational wealth for the rest of his family to go on for years and years. So, shout out to Carmelo Anthony. Now, the lesser Anthony on the list, who's had a bit of
My God.
a bit of a drama
I
going
gotta
on
protect
right
my
now.
YGs.
Anthony Edwards.
YGs, man.
Anthony Edwards is making headlines because, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Edwards made a surprise decision to pay his entire child support that he was not owed, but what's the word I'm looking for? Indebted? No, I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Indebted,
that's the word.
Required to pay. He did owe it.
Yeah, all the child support that he owed for a child that he had with a female. I'm not familiar with the person, unfortunately, so I apologize. I should have researched before I came on here.
I can tell you, I know a lot about her. She's also Little Baby's baby mama.
Of course you do, Tyler.
Chief Keef. I'm pretty sure she's Chief Keef baby mama and Little Baby. She actually has like a bit of a history of trapping people. Trapping young men who are very dumb. Very dumb.
The best take of the day. The best take of the day. Tyler knowing this woman.
Very unfortunate that Anthony Edwards fell for the trap. I'll give my 2 cents though on the situation. And I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I was kind of just joking a little bit because I don't actually know what's in Anthony Edwards' heart. I don't actually know what's in his mind. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know what the thought process is behind his decision. The social media world, however, is trying to portray this as a way to get out of the situation and be done with it. Now, like I said, I don't know Anthony Edwards' heart. I don't know his mind. I don't know what he wants to do with the situation and how involved he wants to be in it. All I got to say is I hope he does intend to be, because no matter the situation, no matter what happened or why or how it happened, at the end of the day, young man, you have a child. And Tyler's nodding his head no, which I'm assuming means he doesn't want to be a part of it. He should.
That's what he said. He said he does not want to be the father at all. At all. He has no time.
Literally, that's why I said at all.
He'll always be playing basketball. He has no time to be a father.
I'm not going to waste another 30 minutes talking about it.
The other kids that he loves.
All I can say is I disagree with it. I understand him. I'm always willing to understand a person's point of view and perspective. I can put myself in his shoes and understand, the situation that he's in is difficult. But you're a grown man. You made a mistake. There is consequences to your mistakes, and as a grown man, you have to accept those mistakes. And I don't even want. And I'm sorry for using that word. I'm sorry to all the parents in the world for using that word, because I know that word hurts. That baby is not a mistake. It was in God's plan at the end of the day. So you can give that child the best life ever. You can co-parent. You can pay as much child support as you want. Anthony Edwards, you're a grown man. You're an adult. You need to make better adult decisions. If he doesn't want to be a part of the baby's life, I understand, but that's not the right decision. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan, and he has lost points with me.
This happened now. The third time. Remember, before he had the send a video situation with the abortion, he got one of his other girlfriends pregnant, and now he got a third girl. I think at some point you just have to take control of your own situation and stop acting like a child, because you are a 23-year-old grown man. None of us were going around getting people pregnant. None of us were going around, just knocking girls up and saying, I don't want to be the father because I'm a millionaire. I do think that's a mark on him that, we should judge him for. I do think so.
100%. 100%.
I just think when it's situations when I see young men like that, because I was a young man, I had a child at 22 years old, so, I wasn't knocking up the whole block, though, and I wasn't running around with $1 million, which I was. But,
Let me pause here before you finish. I want to add. I want to add to what you're saying, though. Before you finish, I want to add to what you're saying, because I want you to understand what you are about to do. Understand the entire perspective here.
I agree with you guys.
You are not in his situation. One, you are a part of your son's life.
At all.
Regardless of how your situation happened, and I don't want to get personal. I apologize if I'm getting too personal at this point. But regardless of how your situation happened, you are in your son's life. I see it consistently all the time. You know what I mean? So it's not the same thing. So I don't know where you were going, but it did sound like you were
No,
about to be on his side.
no. What I
Okay,
am going to say is that he's 23 years old, and we've been 23 years old, and now we're going into our late 20s, early 30s, and we're now deciding that a lot of these decisions we made when we were younger just weren't smart, and maybe we would beat our younger self up. And I think he's going to come into a point when he does get a little older, he sees like, man, I could have handled these situations a lot better, and maybe it's not won't be so late to where he is a good father to these kids, and maybe he can try to be in everybody's lives. But he's kind of going through that Nick Cannon route where there might be too many kids for him to have time to do anything right now at this point of his career. But I'm just giving him some grace because he's a young black man, and sometimes guidance isn't always accessible. Guidance isn't something that money buys you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need an OG or maybe LeBron to hit him up because LeBron's like the father figure of the NBA. Just someone to like kind of be like, hey, brothers, maybe you don't want to be a part of that kid's life, or maybe there's a way to handle this. Like, hey, don't text it to her. Meet her in person. Stop leaving paper trails. Because now we won't know any of this if we don't have receipts. At this point, it would be like Wilt Chamberlain. It would be like it would be infamous. Exactly.
Yeah,
it would
he's
be
turning
infamous.
into Dwight
Whoever
Howard,
his
bro.
PR person is. Yes, exactly. Whoever his agent is, no one's giving him like the quote, like, yo, maybe you need like a burner phone. Maybe you need to like learn how to move and not be so slimy in public. Because then it's infamous. Now it's he say. We don't know what was said.
Wait. What are we doing here?
What I'm saying is,
we're getting him tips on how to get away with it. No, he needs to stop doing it.
No, I'm not.
He needs to stop doing it.
Maybe. No, but like also him learning that I have to do all this to hold this down and not tell anybody this.
Oh gosh.
Is like maybe his wake up call. Like this is really serious. Like these are now other, not just the woman's life I affected. I've now brought a new woman into a new child, another life I'm affecting without the kid even having an opportunity to like have a say so. And I agree with you guys, bro. If you live with a woman, you know, my mom even told me, even further than that, like you got to take care of what's yours, and that's just what it is. So I just think he doesn't have the guidance right now, and he moves real sloppy, bro. He's just real sloppy, bro. You could be a good dad and have a bunch of kids, but you're just moving real sloppy
into other people. Not expect them to get pregnant. You know what the consequences are. You know you don't got a vasectomy, and you know that you potent because you have one other baby and one other abortion. You know what's in your balls, bro. You know what's in your balls. Count it down. You can't just be
make better decisions, young black man.
Willy-nilly.
Make better decisions, young black man. Come on, you gotta make better decisions.
That's what I say always. I tell Noah that same thing.
Great.
Oh,
man,
God.
make better decisions, black man.
100% word for word.
Yeah, but ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I think that's the motto of the day. You know, make better decisions, young black man, please. Young black men, please make better decisions. But unfortunately, Anthony Edwards has lost points with me. His excuse me, his bid for face of the league is done. That's not going to happen.
It's gone.
It's impossible.
But he knew it. He knew it before we could even debate it. He knew it. Like he said it. I want to be the face of the league. But you know, everybody. Kobe had a resurgence. Then he became the face of the league for a little bit. I think he could switch it around. I think
Kobe became the face of the league after that.
He did later years.
After the whole Colorado situation, I think LeBron was the face of the league.
Yeah, once LeBron came in, I think Kobe got put in the back burner for that.
And it was a perfect time because LeBron comes in right before everything that happened in Colorado, and now it's like, damn, you know, we don't gotta use Kobe anymore. He's still the most influential, but he wasn't the face alone. I don't think.
Yeah, Kobe took a big hit, but either way, shout out to, I think Orlando froze. Shout out to Anthony Edwards for giving us this great storyline. Just make better decisions, young black men, please. It is unfortunate.
I made a good decision, Nas. You see that? That was a great decision right there. I did. That's what I was about to go off the wall with this.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, I'll wrap it up by saying, you know, you have to own up to your mistakes. That's what it comes down to. You're an adult. You have to own up to it. Once is a coincidence, twice maybe, 3 times it's a pattern. It's a habit now. You like doing this. This is your side job now. So like, you got to do better. But
sperm bank, bro. At this point, if you want to just keep busting nuts like this, please.
That is how we're gonna wrap up the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button, man. Hit us up in the comment section. Let us know what was your favorite topic of the day. We're done. Hoop Talk out. Deuces.